Hi there, this is Kieran Walsh recording my second video for YouTube. So first of all, big thanks to everyone who sat through me breaking my cherry on that first one. I've got lots of interesting ideas for new video topics in my Facebook inbox, and yeah, good feedback. So this time I'm going to be doing another video, and the topic this time is going to be called The Path of Least Resistance and the ramifications for mental health that this has. Now, try as I might, I can't. I've been trying, and God knows I've been trying to commit this to memory. However, this speech is going to be a bit more quasi technical, so I'm going to have to actually read it off of a script. So it's going to be a little bit less engaging. So I apologise for that. But yeah, let's get straight to it. So, like I say, the topic this time is the path of least resistance. Now, this is the theory that most times in the universe, energy, which I'm talking about here in a scientific rather than a spiritual context, when travelling through a space, will take the least line of resistance. And I believe that this simple fact has quite huge ramifications for mental health. So, as is obviously immediately apparent, I'm no expert in neuroscience. However, I'm going to attempt to convey the working model I have in my head for how this all fits together. As I feel that the mental map that I've got could be beneficial to others. So now, my basic understanding of the brain is that information is carried along neural pathways. A thought can occur in one area of the brain and be sent along a neural pathway to be processed in another area. So if you imagine the neural pathways in your brain like a raised downhill surface with uneven grooves. Now, in this analogy, the thoughts going about your brain are like streams of water running down that uneven surface. The water will run down the existing grooves. They'll take the path of least resistance. So it is true of the route the thoughts inside your brain will take. So the more information is brought along one neural pathway, the deeper embedded is that path, as with the streams of water. So a cycle is created whereby information takes the path that is easiest to take throughout the brain, which will be the neural pathway which is most embedded, which is obviously the one that has been the most active before. Now, I'm aware that I've laboured that point into the ground, but as you can imagine, this simple fact has quite huge ramifications for mental health. So for a minute, let's disregard the catalyst for depression. In this instance, let's focus on why a person is languishing in depression, either for what would be deemed overly long for their circumstances, or is having negative thoughts and feelings that are overly intense for their circumstances. So in my opinion, a depressed person has found themselves in that position because of a series of negative thought loops. I.e., the depressed person will experience a negative thought which pops up into their brain uninvited, such as "I'm fat," which may lead to "I'm disgusting, no one will want me," which leads to "this will affect my future happiness," which may lead to "life is awful and will never get better," and you get the basic point. So this depressed person has at some point begun deepening the neural pathways of negative thoughts, and now the information travelling down these pathways chooses this path as it is easiest to follow. This is in the same ballpark as the fact that you're more likely to remember a sentence or name if you repeat it to yourself over and over. It's like taking a saw to a piece of wood, where each time you repeat the sentence, you're making one more slice of that saw along the same line in the wood, deepening it and making it more pronounced. Now, if you compare this to the archetypal, confident, popular person who has a great life that they love, this person may look themselves in the mirror and remark, "God, I'm just so handsome." Just as with the depressed person, the truth behind their own beliefs is immaterial, especially in the case of something as subjective as looks. In a happy person's case, as with the depressed person, the thoughts occur naturally rather than, say, the mental effort required to name 5 players currently playing for the English national football team, or if you're asked to multiply 17 and 34. The happy person simply experiences these happy thoughts, as for whatever reason their neural pathways have had their positive sections deepened the most. So now he experiences happy or empowering or confident thoughts naturally. So that brings us to what to do if you are depressed. How do you gear your thinking to positive mode? The neural pathways that have led to negative thoughts and emotions have been deepened so that negative thoughts and emotions occur naturally. So what you have to do is use the conscious part of your brain, the part that would be activated were I to ask you to do the multiplication, and you need to force your consciousness to acknowledge the flip side of the coin. If experience is subjective, and it surely is, then with a little effort you can force yourself to see the positive interpretation of reality. If you imagine the entirety of your mind the conscious and unconscious parts as a ship. You must use your consciousness like the rudder of that ship. You must steer your thoughts to go in another direction, the unnatural direction, the path of more resistance. You'll experience the negative thoughts and emotions, but you must force yourself to reframe it positively. This will be incredibly tiring at first, but it will get easier every day to the point where you will do it automatically. Now, if you imagine that you're standing on a dirt path, inclining upwards at a 45-degree angle, and there's water running down it, there's a trench dug already. That is the path of least resistance, or the neural pathway of depression. You're there with a shovel, trying to carve out another trench or neural pathway and dig out and divert the water down a more positive channel. But it's difficult, because the depression trench is dug much deeper. But as you work away at the new trench, the water is eventually being redirected away from the depression trench. It slowly fills up with dirt, so that it gradually ceases to be the path of least resistance. The effort needed to carve out the positive neural pathways starts off massive, but it gradually decreases to the point where your brain naturally thinks positive things and feels positive emotions automatically. Now we can do some examples of positive reframes. A negative thought might be, I'm happy. An example of a positive reframe could be, that's not a concrete, unchangeable state of mind. I'm going to take small steps every day towards being happy. Another negative thought could be, my friends don't care enough about me. A positive reframe being, that's not true. My friends do want me to do well and prosper. Just as I could be self-absorbed or selfish sometimes, so too can they. Another negative thought could be, I hate the way I look. And I feel this is especially true for some women. The positive reframe there being, I can do all I can, if I like, to look as good as I can, meaning doing exercise and eating properly. After that, I'm going to focus on the positives of my appearance, and I'm going to give myself permission to think I look good, no matter what outside entity should tell me otherwise, and ignore my negative thoughts on my appearance. I want to exhaust this point so you can see for yourself how your thoughts are subjective and open to whichever interpretation you wish to take. Now, I'm aware that the jargon I'm using may not be 100% perfect, but the general idea of what I'm saying would stand up. What you should do is attack what I'm saying with the logic in your own mind. Something doesn't necessarily need to be steeped in academia in order to be true or beneficial. Also, obviously, what I am advising would not be the be-all and end-all of depression and different mental states or the experience of negative thoughts and emotions. The very best thing you could do if you're seriously feeling depressed is go and get cognitive behavioural therapy, if you have access to it. Also, for example, I think the current understanding of intense grieving is that it needs to be worked through. And so in that instance, perhaps positively reframing your negative thoughts and emotions would not be the healthiest thing for you to do. Now, I truly believe that positively reframing negative thoughts and emotions is probably the best way to cure depression. And if you did get cognitive behavioural therapy, it's going to be something along those lines, where they're going to try and make you see how you're interpreting things in a depressing light and try and change that to a more positive light. There's reams and reams of studies that you could explore the benefit of brain power from proper nutrition and vigorous exercise. And also, obviously, spending time with loved ones, seeking out novel experiences, rising to challenges, potentially avoiding drugs and alcohol, and seeking out the company of positive people would all be beneficial. You should look for people who you can make laugh and vice versa. Now, these are all examples of things that you could do in conjunction with positively reframing your thoughts and emotions. Also, you should try and be conscious of the media you consume. My friend's parents refer to EastEnders as deprenders for good reason. I, for one, will simply not imbibe fictitious media that I know will be sad. My feeling being that life is already painful at times. Why add fictitious pain to that when you could watch a comedy or a documentary or a thought-provoking drama? Better yet, rather than consume other art or media, why not dabble in some artistic pursuit yourself? Thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate the feedback I got last time. If there's anything you could say about this video, I'd hugely welcome new feedback, and it would all be appreciated. Yeah, sorry that I wasn't able to do this without the script this time, but just couldn't get it down to memory in the time that I wanted to do it. So I'm just going to put this video out, and we'll see when hopefully my public speaking just continues to improve. And next time will hopefully be scriptless. So thanks a lot for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.